When we were young, we read more often because we had to. It was the only way for us to get knowledge and to be enlightened. Read to your heart's delight and be enlightened. Let's just read. It's a podcast by Andy's Personal Development. Stay tuned for more reading and enlightenment. Our next guest on Let's Just Read is Rahul Sharma. He's a talented author, organizational development expert, certified public speaker, facilitator, and coach. This is our guest. He has co-written Jumpstart Your Volume 5 and has authored Be Action Oriented. Know the 5 things to take consistent action and get what you want. Habits for Miracles, Designed Your Life Your Way. Scheduled for release on May 9th, 2023. Let's welcome this gifted master of many arts, Rahul Sharma, live on Let's Just Read. Okay, great. So we are live on our podcast, Let's Just Read, and our special guest on this episode is Rahul Sharma. And he's a very talented, multifaceted guy. He's a talented author, organizational development expert, certified public speaker, facilitator, and coach. And we're going to ask him in a while why he is wearing so many talented hats. But first of all, Rahul, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. And we thank you for the time that you're going to be spending with us. How are you going today, sir?
Thank you, Andy, for the invitation, and I'm very pleased to be on the show and share my story, share my journey, which could be inspiring for the folks who would be listening to this podcast.
Yes, indeed, and we do look forward to it. So, Rahul, tell us, where did you grow up as a young man? Was it in Eugene, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, in India? And how was that experience like for you?
So yes, that's the place I grew up. That place is in the central region of India,
right?
Often known as the heart of India.
Okay.
And it was, the growing up was very, very much where we were able to interact with all the neighbors. We used to play out for every day 2 to 3 hours, where my parents don't even know where I am. And sometimes, it was challenging for us to go back because it was such a fun environment. And it was very encouraging and motivating when you interact with people from a diverse background. Yeah. And at that young age, I was fortunate to interact with people from different backgrounds. That was really enlightening. And I'm very glad for the environment that my family gave to me in the neighborhood. And it was very fun-filled.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing, Rahul. So how did you happen to end up in the US of A? What was that transition like for you?
So I was working in the business capital of India, known as Mumbai, in an information technology company as a senior executive in human resources.
Okay.
I was there for 3.5 years, and then my professional life was getting saturated, and I wanted some change.
Right.
So I started looking out for jobs in Mumbai or specifically in India. Didn't find the one that I was looking for. And that's where I decided to enrich my knowledge in the field of organization development.
Yeah.
And I pursued my master's degree. I flew from India to US to pursue that degree in Bowling Green State
Okay.
University of Ohio.
Yeah.
It was a smooth transition, I would say, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
It was not alarming. The people I stayed with were friendly. Yes, I would say that the first month was little challenging.
Challenging. Yeah. Yeah.
With away from the family,
Yeah.
not used to eating the food that I was eating, and
Yes.
there is a huge difference in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like in India, we are not used to doing things on our own. There is always
Yeah.
a help is there. Whereas when you come to this country, everything you have to do by yourself. So
Basically, yeah.
it was challenging, but yes, I cope up with it, and it's been now 20 years that I'm staying in the country.
Right. Wonderful. And you spent over 2 decades in corporate America. What section of corporate America did you work in, and what was that experience like for you?
So this organization that I'm working, I joined them as a technical recruiter.
Yeah.
So it was into recruiting. Then I grew up in that organization to take care of the business operations.
Yeah.
I also supported in the sales, account management. And since last 10 years, I am globally heading the learning and development group for the organization, where my responsibility is to help people realize their dreams.
Yes.
We coach them, we guide them, and make them capable to pursue their dreams, pursue their careers with the organization.
Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing, Rahul. Sounds inspirational. So tell us, basically, what was that moment for you that you decided to do the writing that you have done? And the last one, let me just ask you this quickly as well. Habits for Miracles, Design Your Life Your Way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's begin with that one first. What is the inspiration behind that publication?
So I would say my own struggles and
Yes.
experiences inspired me to write this book.
Yes.
I wanted to share my journey of breaking bad habits and adopting the healthy ones.
Okay.
That helped me design the life that I'm living right now.
Right.
And I felt that the issues that I was facing is very similar to the issues that most of us face.
Yeah.
And I took this writing as an opportunity to provide practical tips and insight for the readers of my book to overcome their obstacles.
Right. Great. So based on that premise and the context of the writing in this particular publication, what would you say are some of the key elements that people can learn or understand so that they can change from, as you say, bad habits to good habits? How they can make that switch, that transition?
Yeah, so before I dive into that, one thing I want to say, Andy, being in the learning and development, I have learned that it is fairly easier to learn something.
Yes.
But it is extremely difficult to unlearn.
All right.
So for us to adopt the positive habits, we will have to unlearn not so good habits that has imbibed in us.
Good. Yes.
Right. So one of the things that I talk in my book is about circle of happiness, which has multiple elements, how we can have happiness around us. As a human being, we always have a choice.
Yes.
We have a choice to stay happy. We have a choice to stay grumpy.
Okay.
It's all our choice.
Yes.
And the circle of happiness starts with the positive mind talk. You do self-talk, you do positive mind talk, which in turns into the positive thoughts.
Yes.
Positive mindset. And positive thoughts, positive mindset allow us to take positive action. And when we take positive action, that's where we are able to have a positive and a happier life. And that's what I call as circle of happiness.
Yeah, great, wonderful. So is there any specific experience that you would have had that you say You learned how to create that circle of happiness and unlearn the things that were bad for you and learn the good things. Is there any specific incident or experience in your life that has contributed to you doing this publication? Can you recall?
Yes, and not too long ago, just post-pandemic, I wanted to get into the regime of being fit, being healthy. I would
Mhm.
not say being fit, I would say being healthy, because
Right.
being fit is can be taken into a different
Yeah.
tangent that you have to have a six-pack, you have to have a lean and thin body.
Yes.
So I wanted to get into regime of being healthy.
Yeah.
And I started going for swimming. And when I was growing up, I used to love swimming. I used to do swimming, but over the last 2 decades, probably before I started, I
Hmm.
lost touch. I was
Okay.
only swimming when I was going with my kids in the pool just to play
Yeah.
with them. And when I went to that pool first time in my gym, I was very excited. I thought that, man, I will just go crazy. I will do these 10 laps, 15 laps. And to my surprise, the first lap that I took, it took a hell out of me, man. It was challenging. And
Yes. Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
have to stop for
Hmm.
almost 5 to 10 minutes
Wow.
to take another lap.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing for me. The thoughts that I had that, okay, I will make it happen, it was disappointing.
Okay.
And when I was driving back home, I did some positive mind talk to myself that, hey, how I can bring that regime of regular swimming without
Yes.
taking breaks. And with that episode, over a
Yeah.
period of 3 weeks, I was able to continuously make 40 laps,
Right.
40 laps
Wow.
without breaks.
Wow. Wow.
And I never give up.
Uh-huh.
It was not that it happened in one day. I
Yes.
kept a goal of first 4 laps, 8 laps. I kept on increasing.
Yes.
Eventually, over a period
Yeah.
of 3 weeks, I was able to reach to 40, and then I
Yeah.
consistently started doing 40 laps. So that mindset of never give up, that
Hmm.
mindset of having that positive conversation to
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
really helped me, supported me. And I think that if we all can do those aspects in our life, it would be very, very beneficial and fruitful.
Yeah. Wonderful. Um, I see there a certain level of incremental progress. And I'm thinking, how do you infuse within someone the desire to be patient, to take it, like you said, 4 laps and 8 laps, without wanting to just consume the whole thing and then you become overwhelmed? But how do you get someone to sort of tamper down themselves and say, hey, you know what? Step by step, maybe 1% by 1%, but that is the approach that is necessary to gain the bigger goal. How do you get
Mhm.
them to come to that place where they decide, okay, this is the best way to do it? Small wins for a great victory.
Correct, correct. So everyone is different, Andy.
Yeah.
What worked for me may not always work for others, but
Right.
the process of making it happen is something can work.
Okay.
And one thing I always tell to my folks who I interact on a regular basis, whether it is a learner, my family members,
Yeah. Yeah.
is take consistent action.
Right.
Whether that action is moving you to the next level or not, it is a different story. But if you miss on those action,
Hmm.
you will not be able to move further.
Right.
Most of the times we get disappointed with our own self
Hmm.
that, hey man, I did this action, but it did not give me the result that I was looking for.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think result is not in our hand. What is
Okay.
in our hand is the effort.
Right.
So continuously take efforts, just believe in yourself
Hmm.
and focus on that larger goal.
Yeah.
Visualize the journey
Yes.
that will happen post completion of your objectives, accomplishment of your goals.
Yes.
So to in summarize, taking consistent action will be very, very beneficial for all of us.
Yes. Very good. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing, Rahul.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to move on to the next publication. And it says here, Be action oriented.
Mhm.
Discover the 5 keys to taking consistent action and achieving your goals. I suppose in some ways we may have touched on that in our previous conversation somewhat. But
Mhm.
what was the key inspiration behind this particular publication? Because it's in many ways sort of different to Habits for Miracles.
Yes, yes. So at a point, one point in my career, there was a time where I was getting a victim of self-pity mode. I
Yes.
was thinking that whatever not so great things are happening is all happening to me. I
Okay.
went into that zone of some pessimistic thoughts,
Mm,
and I was not enjoying that time frame.
okay.
Uh, and then I took few steps, and those steps eventually converted into the book, Reaction Oriented. And the first thing, Andy, I did was found out my why. The
Yes.
why behind that action, why
Yes.
I need to take this. I changed the people in my inner circle. I involved people who were giving me positivity,
Mhm.
who were not taking away my positiveness, but
All
who
right.
were giving
Yes.
me positivity,
Yes. Yes.
right? And did the self-analysis of my strengths, weakness, what are my areas of improvement. So the aspect of my personal life really motivated me to write that book. And since those things worked for me, I thought that to share the knowledge and help the community, because that is one thing I've noticed, that most of the people, they don't take consistent action.
Okay.
uh, they procrastinate, and
Yes.
they just think of having a good life,
Mhm.
but then they don't imagine that if you need something that you never had, then you need to do something that you have never done.
Yes. Well,
So that
yeah.
is what
Yeah.
the whole premise of the book.
Okay, great. Wonderful, Rahul. Thanks for that information.
Mhm.
Um, as I said in the introduction, you are a man of many talents. You wear many hats. Talented author, obviously, organizational development expert, certified public speaker, facilitator, and coach. In your area of coaching, what specific genre do you adapt with regards to how you help people to find their true sense of meaning and to be able to identify where they really want to go in life? How does your coaching assist them in this area?
So from the genre perspective, at the moment, I'm focusing more on the leaders
Yeah.
who are leading a team
Okay.
when they are struggling to manage their workload. And
Okay.
the way I focus on is, this is one thing which I learned very late in my career about coaching,
Yes.
which is, coaching is not about giving answers to your people.
That's right. That's
As
right.
a coach, the responsibility is to ask right questions
Hmm.
and allow the person to discover the answers within themselves.
Excellent.
So that is what I'm doing differently, where I ask relevant questions, I allow people to think from within, and I have seen that the change happens when the actions or when the thoughts are coming from within. People don't want to get change when the change is enforced on them,
Yes.
but when the change is coming from within, they are very excited.
Yep.
So that is the different approach that I take. So if anyone want to come to me, I don't have any magic wand with me that I will give you
Mhm.
some tips or give you some
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
But yes, I can share examples, but I will not give you a silver bullet that, okay, do this and make it happen. I
Yeah.
will make you work. You
Okay.
might get some frustration that I'm asking you to do the homework. But
Yes.
if you are willing to invest in you, then be willing to invest the time. That is
Yes.
the best investment you can do. Invest in your time in enhancing your knowledge.
Yeah. It reminds me of a saying by Warren Buffett. Uh,
Mhm.
the greatest investment you can make is the one you make in your self development and
Right.
your growth as an individual. So I hear you, Rahul, and I support you wholeheartedly in that.
Thank
So,
you.
speak about the co-authored publication, Jumpstart Your. Tell us about that.
So that was the time when I was in the middle of writing this book,
Yeah,
Habits for Miracles.
yeah.
And I got this opportunity from a very famous individual, Katrina Shava. She is a
Mm-hmm.
famous author and publisher, where she was looking for folks to contribute to her book.
Oh,
And then I thought that my book, The Habits for Miracles, still 4 to 5 months ago,
uh-huh.
I thought of sharing the summary of this book into a chapter. So I
Right.
wrote a chapter, and which gives a reader a specific understanding of this book that I've written. So Jumpstart Your Habits was the chapter of mine in that book, and I have articulated this miracles habits
Yeah.
in that chapter.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
great. So tell us, Rahul, in terms of your coaching experience, what are some of the things that people would come to you with and they would say, okay, Mr. Sharma, these are my challenges. These are the areas that I feel are really difficult for me, but I need your help. I need your assistance to sort of understand what I'm facing and how to deal with it so that I get in the end result a better solution or a better way in which I can deal with my stuff. What are some of the
Mhm.
challenges that they come to you with, Rahul? Share with us.
The number one challenge I have seen, Andy, is leaders or people come to me
Yeah.
that I have done everything to make things happen,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not seeing the desired results.
Results. Okay. Okay.
And then I go into the investigation mode, if I can
Right.
say, to
Yes.
understand what have they done, why they are saying that they have done everything and they've not
Uh-huh.
got the result. And I
Yes.
what I realize is people do everything, but they do not do good job of closing the loop.
Okay.
They keep the loop open,
Yeah.
and because of which they are not able to get the desired result. So that is one biggest challenge I have seen in many leaders.
Okay. Right. Great. Wonderful. Are you a cricketing buff? Do you support cricket? I see that you were involved in the National Cadet Corps and Cricket
Mhm.
Academy. Tell us a
Yeah.
bit about that.
Yeah, so it was very early in my life
Uh-huh.
where my father just pushed me into those things, which I was not realizing that
Uh-huh.
why I have to do this. And I think most of the time, kids do not realize why their parents are requesting them to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But it was a blessing for me that I went into those two academies. And
Yes.
cricket taught me a lot of great things and honed me the personality that I have,
Yeah.
and I still enjoy cricket.
Yes.
My son, who is a 9-year-old, has started learning cricket. He goes to the cricket academy here in Virginia,
Yeah.
and he enjoys this Indian Premier League, which is one of the very famous cricketing
Yes. It is.
event in
Yeah.
India.
That's
So
right.
it's a fun event, fun game, and I'm still enjoy watching it.
All right. So Rahul, let me just put you on the spot for a little bit, and I hope you don't mind.
Mhm.
I'm going to call some names, and you're going to tell me if there's a connection between your level of inspiration with that person and why. So I'll begin with Sunil Gavaskar.
Mhm.
Then I'll
Yes.
go on to Sachin Tendulkar.
Mhm.
Then I'll go on to Virat Kohli.
Kohli.
And I'll also go on to MS
MS
Dhoni.
Dhoni. I was not knowing what you were saying, but yes.
So which one of these guys, all great in their own respects, would have been probably the most inspirational in your life?
I would say MS Dhoni.
Ah, I
MS
can tell.
Dhoni,
Yes.
big fan of him, big fan of
Uh-huh.
his leadership.
Right.
More than the game, I'm a big fan
Yes.
of his leadership
I
style.
hear you. I hear you.
And I'm still working towards to be like him.
Uh-huh.
It's a long way, but he's an inspiration to many, and
Yes.
just like me.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing and for enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
So as we look towards the future, Rahul, what are your plans with regards to going forward? And this, the first book that we discussed, Habits of Miracles, is it published as yet?
It's on a pre-sale right now,
Okay,
and it is getting published on my son's golden birthday, which is on May 9th,
right.
2023. So
Congratulations.
we
Yes, to
are
him.
releasing that day, yes.
Yes.
And coming back to the plans is I would want to talk about the book. I want to go out to various colleges, universities, schools, to be honest, because I believe that habits, if inculcated early on, would
Yes.
benefit them in the long run.
Yeah, later
Not
on.
that we
That's right.
cannot inculcate new habits when you grow up,
Yeah.
but that would be the greatest impact on them. I want to go and talk to churches or
Hmm.
corporates and
Yes.
spread the word about my book.
Okay.
That is where
Great.
I would be spending time for next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, great. And for the others that you have done thus far, have you been able to interact with people and they tell you, Rahul, I read be action oriented or jumpstart your habits, and something jumped out to me. You know, I can remember this part and I can remember that part. Have you had that kind of opportunity to get that interaction with people and so on?
Yes, yes. Fortunately, I'm fortunate enough that in one of my recent leadership workshop,
Yes.
we did a book review of two of the books. One was
Yes.
Be Action Oriented,
Yeah.
another is The Four Discipline of Execution.
Okay.
And people came to me and spoke about Be Action Oriented as very simple to read.
Yes.
It is not full of jargons. It is very relatable, and it is something that we can execute.
Yes.
It's not that we have to think, can I do this? Will it be helpful for me?
Yeah.
No. So they were able to relate to it. It was written very in a simple language. And the strategies discussed in the book was simple to execute. So that is what I'm hearing from readers who have read Be Action Oriented.
Yeah, great, wonderful. And you use a term there, jargon, and for those who may be live or going to be listening to this publication later, what Rahul was hinting to is that sometimes we try to be too cute and we want to use fancy words. But the more simple it is, and in public speaking, they tell you KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to make sense, but it should be as simple as possible so that everyone who's reading could get the message and understand where you're coming from. Because when you make that connection, is then that they receive the value from what you have written. So thank you, Rahul, for that. So I'm gonna go to our social media. And I see here that I have Loretta Packet on, and she's saying, good evening to you all. I'm learning a lot from listening to you time and time again. Blessings continually. Thank you so much for that comment. And the inspiration is from Rahul Sharma as he expresses all the stuff that he has put together over the past 24 years or so. So, Rahul, in terms of your public speaking, do you basically work with the information that's in your publications, or are you open to any topics that, you know, the people who hire you would say, okay, I need you to speak on this, as the case might be? Where does the inspiration for your speeches and your public speaking come from?
So one is it's not only about the publication of mine.
Yeah.
I specialize on one is Habits for Miracles. Apart from that, one of the genre that I focus on is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Building leaders within the organization.
Yeah.
So that is one area. The second is the mind talk matters. I
Right.
firmly believe in the mind talk, and I want to spread awareness that how powerful our mind is and what our mind is capable of. Apart from this, I'm open to have a discussion with any of the client and see if I would be a good fit for them. I want to, more than the speaking, I want to see that I'm able to provide more value. Right? If I'm spending an hour with a client of mine, I want to give them 100 times worth of my time. in that 1 hour. That
Yeah.
is my focus.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Rahul. So in terms of the future and your publications and your writing and so on, what else do you see on the horizon? I know you're visionary and you may have some other goals that you want to accomplish. Um, what do you see in the future for Rahul Sharma? What does it look like for you?
So I'm still engaged with my existing team, my existing work, and I will continue to support that. From the publication, I want to be a world traveler. I want to travel around the world and talk about the power of mind. I want to talk about how one can unleash their potential.
Yeah.
We all have so much of potential, but
Mhm.
sometimes we do not know what we are capable of. So
Yes.
my focus is to help the community, to help them become the best version of themselves. And that's what my goal and the next step would be, to spread out my wings, travel
Yeah.
around the world, and spread the happiness as well as the positivity.
Yeah. Great. So coming out of your publications, especially Habits for Miracles, Design Your Life Your Way, what would you say? Let's just imagine that you have a megaphone and you can speak to over 7.8 billion or so, I think is the world population right now. But everyone can hear your voice and you have this one opportunity to say something that you believe would make a difference in the world. I mean, let's look at it from that positive aspect. What
Mhm.
are some of the things that you would say to them, Rahul?
I would say that adopt new habits, bring the mindset, shift your mindset to positive change,
Yeah.
and provide positive vibes to people around you.
Okay.
Spread positivity, embrace
Okay.
the change.
Yes.
Those are
Wonderful.
the things I would say, Andy.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So we have had this wonderful time with Rahul Sharma, this multi-talented and multifaceted individual. You have heard the inspirations behind his writing, his stories from growing up in Eugene in India and coming across to the USA for his bachelor's degree and so on. And we have heard how he has continued to develop good habits and deny the old habits the place that they should not have in our lives, which is a wonderful example for us to follow. So now we're going to ask Rahul to share information with us on how we can make contact with him. I know you may want to get his publications, you may want to get him to do some public speaking. Rahul, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Sure. So the listeners to this podcast can log on to my website, book website. It is www.habitsformiracles, and the four is number four, not FOR, number four. You can search me on Google, Habits for Miracles. You will find a lot of content, a lot of articles that I have written. And you can also search my book on Amazon, which is available right now on a
Mhm.
pre-sale. So
Yeah.
get in touch with me. My book website has all my social media handles. I would love to hear from you, love to provide you the support that you need.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So there you have it, people. Rahul Sharma live on Let's Just Read, leadership coach, public speaker, an individual who has so much talent and positive and valuable content to share with us on this episode of Let's Just Read. So until next time, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development reminding you to read more for enlightenment and knowledge so that we can each play our role in making this world a better place for all of us to live and coexist in. Until next time, I say to you, God bless, Shalom, Godspeed, Namaste. Bye for now.